Mario Party Superstars is one of the best Mario Party games to recapture the series after it lost its friggin' edge in the 2010s decade. And no, it's definitely not my favorite Mario Party game. I mean, Super Mario Party Jamboree exists now and has more content than any other in the franchise. But this game has been one of those Switch 1 games I could go back to anytime I want. It's nothing special compared to other entries as it's just all remastered content from earlier games, but the amount of effort they put into modernizing them really sets the bar high. Plus, it was a good way to experience classic Mario Party, as I never had any of those games when I was a child, except Mario Party 10, which kind of sucked, and I never got to play 1 to 3 until they added them to Switch Online. So this game really got me into the Mario Party series as a whole, and was everything the Top 100 wished it could be. And now I kinda want to rank all 5 N64 boards that were remade in this game. And while I can kind of compare them to their OG counterparts, the main focus is how they play out in Superstars. I can bring up added or removed additions, but I'm gonna talk about how developed these boards are in general. And while I wish we could have gotten more boards than 5, as well as possibly DLC, I can be satisfied with what we have so far. And just like my other rankings, these will be from worst to best based off my own opinion on them. None of these are objective, so I know people are gonna disagree, let alone if any of these are hot takes. And also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell for daily notifications as I make new content every month. Without further ado, let's talk about these boards. And starting off this list, we have one of the most divisive boards, and that's Peach's Birthday Cake. I never liked this board from the beginning. Most Mario Party boards have some split paths taking you to different areas with different purposes, and they usually call for an unpredictable but still strategic experience. Even though Mario Party and its board premise is usually luck-based, it also has plenty of skill and strategy sprinkled in between to give players room around bad luck and a bit of control over some things. Those are usually the boards I like the most. This one, on the other hand, is a complete straight line with no alternate routes besides the Bowser Cake as the shorter path and the event space that takes you down the slope. This board is mostly a one-way route where you cannot choose your paths, and it just makes this experience more predictable and completely luck-based. Your only optimal strategy is to just roll the dice and hope to get good rolls. Otherwise, you are not in control of where you go, unlike the other boards. That being said, I don't hate playing this board. There are some interesting gimmicks, such as these event spaces that summon piranha plants that can steal coins or even stars, but they're also luck-based and go both ways. Not only the chances of landing on the event space and claiming your piranha plant, but also landing on someone else's and falling victim to it. There's also this area where you plant a seed and it chooses if you get to take Bowser's path and get screwed over, but also take the shorter path or loop around the cake again. Otherwise, the only thing you can do is go around the circle, and the star is only in one spot this whole time. It's also worth mentioning that there's only one item shop, which is right after the star. Once again, completely luck-based, as each time it's a different seed that picks Bowser. At least it's better here because they changed it from Mario Party 1 where the seed part is after the star rather than before, so it's less punishing for unlucky players. Otherwise, this board isn't fun at all. Its concept is neat on paper and can be fun for some players, but in execution, it's kind of an unfair mess. It has a higher emphasis on luck than all the other boards in Superstars, and you get less control over everything than you otherwise would. It's also just boring and predictable because it's a one-way path with very few alternatives you don't even get to manually choose. Yeah, I'm ranking this D+. Out of these 5 boards, this is the one I go back to the least. Alright, before I reveal my next pick, I need to mention this in case it's not obvious. So far, only one of the boards was unenjoyable in my opinion, but the rest are all functionally good. They're not the same levels of enjoyment, but they're something I'll play anytime I feel like it. And to start off with good territory, we have Yoshi's Tropical Island. This is the only other Mario Party 1 board in Superstars. And considering how that game's boards aren't very good in my opinion, it's not much of a surprise that they're the lowest ranked. However, it's also because the ones I really like, such as DK's Jungle Adventure and Luigi's Engine Room, haven't been remade before, not even in Jamboree, as I would easily take those over Peach's Birthday Cake or Yoshi's Tropical Island. I'll even take Wario's Battle Canyon over all of them, as I'm one of those morons who really likes that board. But that's a topic for a whole nother video, as one day I can rank every board in Mario Party 1. But let's talk about Yoshi's Tropical Island. The original was pretty mid. It's like Peach's Birthday Cake, but with 2 circles instead of 1, so there's not much of a split path focus here compared to other Mario Party 1 or Superstars boards. However, this one is less luck based because you can choose to stay on whichever side you're on, or pass the Thwomp toll and pay a certain fee to get to the other side. And you can choose any amount to make it affordable for yourself or too expensive for others. And both sides are interesting because Bowser alternates with the star every time you land on an event space. And one of the sides has a boo that lets you steal coins or stars, something all the other boards except Peach's birthday cake have. The other side though has an item shop, and speaking of items, the original wasn't as good because there was no item balance. Here it's more interesting because you have items, meaning you could get good dice rolls, use the golden pipe to get to the other side, or swap with other players, which raise even more stakes. You can also choose to switch between paths to get to the star, or stay wherever you are and hope it switches to your side. Not the most ambitious thing compared to the top 3, but I like this board now. It's a B+ and a good introductory choice. Okay, before I go on, I know we just started this list, but the next 3 are actually amazing and are some of the funnest and most creative boards in the game. There's the 1 board for Mario Party 3 and the 2 for Mario Party 2. And unlike the Mario Party 1 boards, these 3 also have Koopa Banks where players have to deposit coins when they pass, and whoever lands on them gets all the coins. I'm bringing this up now because all 3 of those boards have them, which set the bar higher. Anyways, let's talk about which board is number 3 on this list, and that, my friends, is Spaceland. First of all, this board is a giant square packed with chicanery, and there are several split paths to take which heavily spice up the gameplay. There's a few paths unlocked by a skeleton key, also non-Mario Party 1's boards, and a couple boos scattered. We also have these routes taking you to the middle or the edges, and a loop around the outside. And the star moves regularly in this one and the next 2, so if I can't reach it before another player, I can take different paths until it's eventually close to me. But more interestingly, on the edges of the map, there's the event spaces that summon speeders that push you all the way back, and if you pay a few coins, the Sniffit patrol officers will chase them down and put you further down the board. Now for every time we start, because it's a long strip of straight line, and after getting sent back, I always pay a few coins if we land on the event spaces, so if we do again, we get sent somewhere else and can take a different route. This is so we don't waste 5 to 10 turns doing nothing but trying to get past this stretch. Also, did I not even mention the space laser? It's by far the highlight of this board. There is a countdown element in the middle that starts off at 5, then goes down a number for every time someone walks over it. When it gets to 0, it will shoot out a laser across this diagonal pathway, and if anyone is standing in its way, it will take away all your coins. It's such an excellent risk factor that puts more fun to this experience. There's also this one path where you can repeatedly loop around the center to lower the countdown if you want to be a jackass and screw over your opponents. Overall, an excellent experience and gets A+. And in second place, we got Woody Woods, the only Mario Party 3 board that got remade, and not just in Superstars. Jamboree didn't give us another one for some reason. At least what we got is one of the best Mario Party boards in the series. First of all, just like in Spaceland, this board has multiple split paths and elements. But there's a catch. In this board, there's this special gimmick that changes up some of the arrows so players will automatically go left or right. And not only do they change after every turn, but even if you land on an event space, and also pay a Monty Mole. However, there's some optional split paths to take depending on which way you go, and some additional ones unlocked by skeleton keys, so it's not completely luck-based. Unlike Peach's birthday cake, you get some control of where you're going, and this single-handedly raises all stakes for this mechanic, and makes you move around as much as possible. And because the star moves regularly, it won't matter if you won't be able to take a certain path because of the changed arrows. However, that's not the only thing this board has. We also got the 2 trees, with one being good and the other being evil, and you can choose which side to grab a fruit that will give you extra coins or dice roll, or the opposite. Also, for once, there's multiple item shops instead of just one, and there's also the only item shop in the game that provides the plunder chest, which lets you steal another player's item. Now, this used to be my favorite one, but then I looked back and saw that there wasn't much more to this board than the arrow gimmick and talking trees. At the end, I will rank this in the A+ tier, but there is one more board that surpasses this one on the list. And the best board in the game is Horrorland. I don't know why it wasn't so obvious from the beginning, because this board is almost perfect. It already has one of the greatest gimmicks ever, and that's the day-night cycle, where it changes after every couple of turns, which primarily affects several of the board's elements. And they take full advantage of it with even as many set pieces as possible. And it's the only board outside of Mario Party 6 that uses this. Also, this game came out a couple days before Halloween in 2021, so it's very fitting that it's Halloween themed. Anyways, there are different uses of day-night cycle. It changes automatically after every 2 turns, but it also changes if someone lands on some of the event spaces. But also, where you can choose to change the time of day by paying coins. If it's daytime, you can get Kamek to light his darkness lantern, and if it's nighttime, you can party with a few ghosts to pass time, and it'll eventually turn to day. There's also more than one Boo on this board, and one of them is active in day while the rest are only active at night, as well as King Boo that can steal from all players instead of just one. And they brought back the Womp gimmick where you pay coins to make them switch sides, as seen in Womp's Domino Ruins and DK's Jungle Adventure, except they can only be used in day because at night they are sleeping, which raises a lot more stakes. There's also other things in this board outside of day-night cycle, such as how big the map is and how many split paths there are, and this rolling eyeball that can easily take players from one side to another. But overall, this board is masterfully crafted and has very few flaws, and is the first one on the list that didn't leave me wanting more. As such, it can be ranked S tier. And that's about it for ranking 5 boards in Mario Party Superstars. Hopefully you all enjoyed this ranking of mine, and I'm interested in how you'd rank those. But overall, all of these boards, except for one, are solid and enjoyable enough experiences and have plenty of elements to turn a bunch of tides, just like in the classic Mario Party games. It's an excellent revival to the legacy Mario Party series after Super Mario Party kind of started bringing it back, but missed a major mark. And all the other games before, since Mario Party 9 tried to be different and fell flat for many. And while Jamboree further recaptured the series and mostly contained fresh new content, this was a great game to remaster a bunch of boards and minigames from older Mario Parties and improve on some of their attributes. Maybe one day I'll rank all the minigames in Superstars, as well as make videos on other Mario Party entries. But for now, that's about it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.